I watched this whole segment. Basically, what he said, we're not going to show the rest, but he said basically that the Steelers should have tanked this year, got the future QB or the QB for their future, and went with Mason Rudolph. And then I'm sitting there like, so you're going to tell the Yinzer fan base, this fan base that's crazy in LA and Phoenix and Chicago, they got Steeler bars everywhere. You're going to tell this fan base that, no, we'll tank with future Hall of Fame coach Mike Tomlin, who's never missed a playoff, and say, it's all right, we'll just tank it in a league with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson in it. I thought it was asinine to say. You got to at least take a shot at the only guy out there available, which is Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Coach,
right?
I think I said this to Whitlock last week. The worst thing you can be in the National Football League is right where the Steelers are. They're in no man's land. You're not good enough to really compete for the trophy. And you're not terrible enough to actually get one of the top 5 picks. They're kind of in that area of like, what do you do here? Are you the best of the mediocre, or are you the mediocre of the best? The pressure's on Tomlin, because if he would have made a Super Bowl run or won a championship within the last 5 years, you could eat off of that. People say, yeah, but in 2020, 21, we won it. We're good. It's time to rebuild.
Right.
The fact that they have not won it since, 2008 against the Cardinals, Santonio Holmes with that great catch, right? And they haven't had sustained playoff success in about, a decade?
16.
Tomlin actually, I don't think, has that license. There are certain coaches, they have a license to rebuild. If you've won a championship within the last 7 years, they'll say, you know what? We had a good run. Now we got to clean this up again, right? Tomlin, if you actually listen to the Steeler fans on social media, and they come on my timeline once in a while, they're itching for a change if there's not a market improvement. I don't believe that the rebuild card was on that stacked deck for the Steelers at this moment.
Let me ask you, I know Smitty's got another question about the Steelers. I wanted to ask you, priority got to be TJ Watt and his deal, because he's not in attendance at minicamp this morning. And then Trey Henderson is out there as a rival in Cincinnati, who's also not at minicamp, another pass rusher, two great ones. Would you be crazy enough if you're the Steelers to blow this up right now and try to go get some assets?
There's no way Tomlin would allow it. He's kind of fighting for his job.
But is this
really
one guy
that.
Good enough? Is he good enough with a Patrick Queen to change the narrative, Smitty? You know what I'm saying? I get, you got to understand. I get what you're saying. But at the same time, can you get 3 or 4 guys to make your team better? Like, I don't know. He's on the other side, I would argue. I mean, it's tough, but like, to Steve's point, you got to shit or get up the pot. I don't know if just TJ Watt's going to win you a playoff game, bro.
I don't know, man. I feel like lose. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
No, but Smitty, when was the last time a big trade was made in June? Don't they all happen either during the season or right during the draft? Or
guys demand, or they demand them.
Trade in June.
Roquan Smith, who was demanding to get out of Chicago.
That's a trade. I'm talking about a blockbuster. This would be a blockbuster.
I've seen TJ Watt literally win games for the Steelers, though. Like strip sacks that led to touchdowns, like where the offense didn't do a damn thing all game long in the defense. And when I say defense, I'm talking TJ Watt specifically. The plays that he made has won them games. So to answer your question, JB, I can't make a promise that having TJ Watt alone is enough to get over the playoff hump. Who knows? But I know that. I mean, you lose TJ Watt, to me, that's like the Mavs dropping Luka. I'm not. That's my opinion. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. If they trade away TJ and they still go out there and lose in the playoffs, oh man, you talk about a hot seat. It won't be.
That's a good point. That's a good point. A fair point. The only reason I brought up this whole thing with Dan and the Aaron Rodgers take was because didn't they draft Will Howard
in the 8th round? I don't look.
I get he's probably not franchise.
I don't look at him as any quarterback of the future. I don't.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, to me, that goes against what Dan was bringing up. Like, why you just drafted a guy, even though he's 8th rounder. You drafted a guy. You're not going to tank and draft another quarterback. You should have got something else this year.
But the whole tank blueprint if you're going to do it, you would have done it starting after the season back in January, February. You don't suddenly switch course in the middle, right in June, right? You say, okay, you know what, guys? Yeah, we're just going to rebuild now. No, that had to begin 7-8 months ago because it's going to impact the way you draft, how you trade on draft day, the free agents you go after. I do not, if you wanted to really tank and say, okay, let's just start over from ground zero, I don't know if you would do it with Tomlin, given his current circumstance. And I don't know if you would do it starting in mid-June. That makes no sense to me.
No, I get it. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with these signings. Hendrickson in Cincinnati and Watt in Pittsburgh. It's two pass rushers who are very, very, you need those two guys. I mean, you would argue right there with QB and Whiteout. Here's my point, Steve, to this Pittsburgh deal, though. They need some sort of assets. They got one receiver, an aging tight end or two, and their O-line's getting older. Their defense has got some holes, in my opinion, and that's their backbone, I guess, in Mike Tomlin's career, having a great defense. I don't know if they have enough, and you got to get some sort – and there's not enough – there's no wideouts out there that I know of floating around that's a difference maker other than Alan Lazard, who I don't think the Jets are going to appease Aaron Rodgers after what he said about their franchise and give him a guy who they play game one. So, I don't think Alan Lazard is going to be able to be available, even though the Jets talked about shopping him. I don't think Pittsburgh would be the team. So I don't know if Aaron has enough is the issue other than DK Metcalf, and you start doubling him and he gets hot-headed, and then you got a whole nother New York Jets scenario. So I don't know if the Pittsburgh Steelers have enough on offense. They're like the Patriots to me. They need outside weapons.
Well, with the Patriots, they drafted a very speedy little guy to Washington State who I like. They got Henderson out of the backfield from Ohio State. I think in certain packages he'll be effective. I think the Patriots have actually retooled their offense pretty nice. The question with New England is, does Josh McDaniels' system ever have true sustained success without a guy named Tom Brady? That's a complicated system. If you talk to anyone that's ever played in it, it's not an easy system. You have to have advanced football IQ to play there. So, and that's what the Steelers, weren't they 9-8 or 10-7?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, can Aaron Rodgers win you a game or two that you didn't last year? That's
And speaking of wideouts, there's Chris Godwin. He turned down, I think, $30 a year to go to New England to stay in Tampa for like a 3-year $60. So he took a little bit of a cut. And I don't know if New England's the wideout destination. I think they want to probably see Drake May maturation process this year after a good rookie campaign. But again, I don't know if New England's going to be a destination point, and I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to be one. That's why I think they got to strike while it's hot. They got Aaron Rodgers in there for 1 year who basically had the same or better statistics than the MVP Josh Allen had last year throwing the football. Same amount of yards, same amount of touchdowns, less picks. No one talks about it, though. I get it.
Throwing, yeah.
I get, obviously one dresses in a phone booth. The other one is on the other side, coming off an Achilles. But statistically, in a bad organization last year in New York, Aaron
but they didn't play winning football.
Yeah, you gotta watch the games though.
A lot of those stats were empty calories. And look, Aaron still can slice and dice here and there. But I did notice he missed more routine throws that would never have happened 7-8 years ago.
Oh, yeah. And I think as the year got older, he got more comfortable off of the Achilles, too, saying, all right, it is what it is. I can move around now a little more. And if you saw it, he started to move around a little more. And then
I will say this.
That's true.
I believe DK Metcalf will be a better fit. Garrett Wilson, to me, is like a frail guy, doesn't make a lot of the tough contested catches. DK is a physical specimen, kind of like a T.O. I get the sense he can muscle more defensive backs, make the big-bodied catches. And Aaron Rodgers is one of the best I've ever seen at the back shoulder. But it's going to be up to Aaron, and this has not necessarily been his strength based on reputation. Be the leader of the offense. Try to actually guide and mold some younger players. Make them into guys that you trust by October. That's the whole goal at this point for him.